And I have to tell you, J.D. Vance has really stepped up. He's doing a fantastic job. Say it.
Are you worried at all about the size of Harris's crowds?
Oh, give me a break. Listen, I had 107,000 people in New Jersey. You didn't report it. I'm so glad you asked. What did she have yesterday? 2,000 people? If I ever had 2,000 people, you'd say my campaign is finished. It's so dishonest, the press. And here's a great example.
No, that stung him. Oh, yeah, no, he has always lied massively about the number of people who attend his rallies.
We had in Harrisburg 25,000 people, and 20,000 people couldn't get in. We had so many. Nobody ever mentions that.
No, he didn't. If you ever see any pictures or video footage of the rallies that he holds, we're talking about a lot of them are in the hundreds. Even the larger ones that he holds inside, he never fills up the stadium. There are always empty seats.
The Republican Party has the enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm remembering this particular news story where Donald Trump claimed that this rally had 60,000 people in it. This one in Dayton, Ohio. He claimed this was 60,000 people. Not even half, not even a tenth. This is at most 2,000. Maybe 3, maybe some people pouring out a little bit here, but looks like it peters out right around here. So no, 2 or 3. He loves doing that shit.
If I were president, you wouldn't have Russia and Ukraine, where it never happened. 0 chance. You wouldn't have had October 7th of Israel. You wouldn't have the horrible withdrawal. And I don't mean the withdrawal, because the withdrawal was fine. I was ready to withdraw from Afghanistan, and we were going to do it with dignity. And
except he delayed the date of withdrawal to after his administration. You know, classic bit. I was ready to, but I delayed it for years so that someone else could handle it. Don't get it. If he had won in 2020, he would have delayed it further. 100% he would have. He would have delayed it further.
None of that would have happened. And you wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had any inflation, because inflation was caused by their bad energy problems. Now they've gone back to the Trump thing because they need the votes. I don't know if you know, they're drilling now because they had to go back because gasoline was going up to $7, $8, $9 a barrel.
20,
so
50?
They said, we better do what Trump.
Barrel?
But the day after the election, if they won.
Oh, hold on now. $7, $8, $9 a barrel. That's, a little deflationary, I'd say.
Everybody's going to be forced to buy an electric car, which they're not going to do because they don't want that. It's got a great market. It's got a market. It's really a sub-market. People want gasoline-propelled cars. They want hybrids. They want to have everything, and they want electric. But they want everybody to have an electric car. We don't have enough electricity. We couldn't make enough electricity for that.
Incredible.
South Carolina had 88,000 people.
No.
In Alabama, I had 68,000 people. Nobody says about crowd size with me. But she has 1,000 people or 1,500 people, and they say, oh, the enthusiasm.
Again, like he's off by like a multiple of 20 or 30 on these.
All we want is honest elections. If we have honest elections in Georgia, we have honest elections in Pennsylvania.
Remember, he has called out by name and praised the Georgia state electors, 3 of whom on a board of 5 are introducing new rules that are intended to allow them to dispute electoral results based on the vibe, based on whether or not they think they appear credible. He's like in Georgia right now, their plan is not to win by votes. It is to have indefinite contentions by 3 out of the 5 officials on the elector board. Is that not illegal? I mean, they just made it the law. That they just passed the policy. Actually, I think you could make a fair dispute on constitutional grounds there. I'm not entirely sure. You'd have to read an article from a lawyer.
Of course there'll be a peaceful transfer, and there was last time, and there'll be a peaceful transfer. I just hope we're going to have honest elections, that's all.
There was not a peaceful transfer. There's actually a coup attempt on the Capitol. Not many people know about this incident, January 6th, but that did happen, and it wasn't peaceful. A person died. Not a very good person, though, and she kind of earned it, you know, by trying to break into the Capitol building. She's in hell now, but a person did die. It wasn't peaceful.
Yeah, the Elon Musk. So, yeah, sure. So Elon called me, As you know, he endorsed me full-throated. Great endorsement. I respect Elon a lot. He respects me. No, I think the people that, if you look at January 6th, which a lot of people aren't talking about very much, I think those people were treated very harshly when you compare them to other things that took place in this country where a lot of people were killed. Nobody was killed on January 6th. But I think
I've seen some people on the right mad about this because them whining about Ashley Babbitt getting got. They've been doing that for years, you know. It's crazy. This is easily worse than when Joe Biden clearly misspoke and he said no one died in Afghanistan on my watch, which I mean, I assume what he meant by that is like in direct combat engagement. It's not during the pullout or whatever. At least 5 people died. Yeah. There was that guy who tased himself in the balls and then died, right? J6, taser, balls, heart attack. Fact check. Alabama man at Capitol riot died from a heart attack. And what did he do before the heart attack? Suffered a heart attack after leaving a taser in his pants, accidentally triggering it when he was attempting to steal a portrait in the Capitol. He repeatedly tased himself in the scrotum until he suffered a fatal heart attack. I'm sorry. I think he tased himself in the balls and died of a heart attack.
I think that the people of January 6th were treated very unfairly. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken to, and you've seen, Maggie, I was at the mall. I was at the Washington Monument. I was at the whole thing. I had crowds. I don't know who's ever had a bigger crowd than I have, but I had it many times. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken before was that day. And I'll tell you, it's very hard to find a picture of that crowd. You see the picture of a small number of people relatively going to the Capitol, but you never see the picture of the...
Can you imagine it? Like, it's like being in Germany and he's bragging about how many people were at the beer hall putsch. Like, he's not just bragging about the rally size of his speeches. Now he's bragging about it at J6.
And I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people. If not, we had more. And they said he had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people. But when you look at the exact same picture, and everything's the same because it was the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back.
As your campaign manager, I am encouraging you to continue posting this shit. Please, God.
They said I had 25,000 and he had 1 million people.
Please,
and
please,
I'm okay with
please.
it because I liked
Please keep
Dr.
it up.
Martin Luther
Black
King.
voters
Yeah,
love this shit,
please.
man. Please, God.
So I think the abortion issue has been very much tempered down, and it seems to be much less of an issue, especially for those where they have the exceptions, as you know. And
Please
I
keep
think
posting this shit.
When I look, for 52 years, they wanted to bring abortion back to the states. They wanted to get rid of Roe v. Wade, and that's Democrats, Republicans, and independents. And
That's so true, man. Democrats wanted to get rid of Roe v. Wade. That's so true. Me, when I preside over maybe one of the most politically disastrous, with me when the consequences are looming in the re-election. I lost in 2020. Now Roe v. Wade's been overturned. We got it going for 2024. I think the reason he's saying it's not a big deal is because he's repeating what his campaign team is reassuring him of. His campaign team has been telling him, yeah, don't worry about the abortion stuff. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You know, don't talk about it. Play moderate. You know, you're not associated with Project 2025. Don't worry about it. And he's just repeating that.
It's a very small, I think it's actually going to be a very small issue. What I've done.
Abortion is the #1 issue on which voters lean left. Like when you ask voters, even Republican voters, which of the two sides do you think is better on abortion? They know who to answer on. Like even like it's the furthest slant of any major issue that they get asked on. This is incredibly funny.
For 18 months, I had a talk with Abdul. Abdul was the leader of the Taliban, still is. But I had a strong talk with him. For 18 months, not one American soldier was shot at or killed, but not even shot at. 18 months, and then we had the disaster of the lift.
Okay, hold on. I feel like now that we're back in the talking points, we've arrived at him just saying provably objectively false things. You know what I mean? I think the essential energy of the press conference has been captured in this moment. You know, I have a feeling that wasn't true. It wasn't true.